welcome to Andy's VR Reviews. Today we're going to be talking about Fracked, a story-driven shooter out today on the Quest Store. Fracked has actually been out for quite a while. It was originally released on the Rift Store in PlayStation VR back in 2022, but my first time playing it was with this Quest version, and that's what I'm going to be reviewing today. A lot of the time, I go to write a review and I have a hard time because whatever game I'm reviewing has a lot of average features, so when I try to make a definitive point, it can be difficult. Now, Fracked is very unique in the fact that a large part of the game I consider to be pretty good, but there's an equal amount that's bad. First, getting into the story itself, you play as kind of a combination of a park ranger and a secret agent. The story lacks a lot of context, but the game starts with you skiing down a mountain until you come across a group of alien workers who have been mining to get these crystals. And yeah, they actually have a pretty extensive mining setup. They have like countless buildings, a rail system with trains, and hundreds of alien workers. It is a legitimate mining operation. That kind of brought up some other questions for me though, like how did they get to Earth and start mining? Do they have the government's permission? Did they make first contact? Are there other aliens on Earth? Where do they come from? Why didn't they just call the police on me for trespassing? Or, are they landing in here and mining in secret? That doesn't really make sense either, because I assume someone would notice the hundreds of purple aliens. And if I'm being real, I think the answer is just don't think about it and have fun. But I couldn't help myself, and it kind of took me out of the rest of the gameplay. Fracked is a really well-built game, but it feels like it's built for either kids or people who've never played a VR game before. Every mechanic in it has been simplified to the fullest extent, even at the cost of hurting immersion. And if you know me, you know that immersion, in my opinion, is the most important part of a VR game. Now, there are countless examples of this, but to me there were three that were very noticeable. The first was with your weapons. Your guns can't be dropped or held with two hands. They're always stuck to one hand, and you can't just freely toss them around or drop them, and reloading works like it does in Population 1, where you can't actually pull a clip out of your pocket and put it in the gun. You just push a new one in. The second annoying mechanic was these wall hacks. When an enemy is nearby but not in your sight, they turn yellow. I know this is implemented so it's easy to tell where all the enemies are, but once again, it's at the cost of immersion. Alright, last complaint. Fracked has the most unintuitive ducking mechanics I've ever come across in VR. Rather than just like pushing the toggle button down or in or clicking a button, you literally have to grab something and pull yourself downwards. Something like that might work for peeking around a corner or pulling yourself up, but if you're trying to just duck and going down, it feels very unnatural. Most of the time when you get into a level, you walk or run around shooting enemies, but sometimes if you're lucky, you get to ski, which for me was my favorite part. You steer yourself by tilting your head to the left or right. It can be a little awkward if you're trying to look around, but regardless, I thought it was pretty fun. Another enjoyable part were the graphics. Hands down, Fracked has some of the best cel-shaded graphics that I've ever seen. I usually don't like that graphic style, but nDreams seems to have implemented them in their own style that makes everything look more realistic than the cartoonishness I was expecting. Also, while I don't agree with most of the gameplay and mechanical choices the developers made, there is no denying that they executed them all very well. Every aspect of the game is extremely polished. Everything looks crystal clear, there's no aliasing, and all the in-game elements feel very solid. I didn't come across any bugs except for falling through the map once, which was more funny than it was annoying, and yeah, the performance couldn't be better. Sadly, the campaign is only a few hours long, so at $29.99 I can't justify recommending it, but if you're looking for a new game, I have links down below to what I consider to be the very best MetaQuest games, so make sure to check that out, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Thanks for watching, I'll see you next time.